Hey everyone, this is Finding Value. I wanted to share my insights on if I were to manipulate the gold market and how I would do that. Now, manipulate is something that, here it is, handle or control, typically in a skillful manner. So, if I were to manipulate the precious metals market, so let's say you've got a government and their power is derived by currency or issuing currency. So we need to understand this because this will even make us we'll have a stronger hand on our gold than what we would without knowing this. So the Federal Reserve derives its power from the issuing of the currency. They derive it from having a stronghold on the reserve of their currency, and they back it with the military. So if someone were to disagree and say, hey, look, we're not going to use dollars, we're going to transact in gold or something else, they use the military to back the dollar and say, oh, yes, you are going to use this. This is the reserve currency. We are the strongest. You better watch out. So if you want to maintain your power, you're going to start to manipulate things. You don't want precious metals, which is real money, to have any sort of problem or set any sort of problems up with your fiat currency. So what you're going to do, and if it were me, is I would control what sets the price of those things. The COMEX is what sets the price, and the derivatives in precious metals are what sets the price for the actual metals. It's usually the other way around. Usually the metals set the price of the derivatives, but the derivatives set the price of the metals in this case. So if the derivatives are setting the price of the metals, I would expand as much derivatives as I possibly could to soak up the liquidity going after the physical metal. Then I would think, well, all right, so if I could have all of these derivatives and a bunch of it to soak up money coming in, what else could I do to soak up dollars looking for metals? I would create ETFs. And then I would create GLD and SLV or things that are like that, because I could say I'm, quote, backing those with physical metals. But what if I'm not? What if I'm just say I am? If you're not backing it up, it's a way to suck up liquidity in an ETF. So you'd have the derivatives that I could manipulate by making them much larger. And then I could say, let's short a whole bunch of it, naked short, and grow those shorts continually to push the metals down, because those metals don't exist that I'm shorting. So you can soak up a bunch of liquidity. I would also create these ETFs to soak up a bunch of liquidity looking for it from that area. Then of the metal that I have, I would do leasing, and they do leasing. So they lease metal out into the market when times are rough and the demand is high. But at some point, they're going to run out of that physical metal. You can only lease so much that you have. So the take that we should have when purchasing and acquiring metals is we need the physical metal. Do not get into the ETFs. Do not touch them. Use your money to acquire physical metal. Don't go out there and think that you can own it through an ETF. Do not go into ETFs. Get the physical and take the physical off the market. Eventually, when everyone's wanting metal, they're going to want the physical metal. They're not going to want an ETF. And they call it a paper claim on gold, and you're never going to get gold, and it's not redeemable in gold for the majority of the ETFs outside of the Sprott stuff. But get your physical. Don't go into the paper stuff. They are probably manipulating it, maybe not on a super long-term basis, but on short-term basis, and some of these spikes and dip, especially spikes, they're probably trying to compress it or keep it down. And whenever you have these dips and whenever you have these spikes, hold on to your metal and accumulate more if you see these dips, because at some point the physical will run out. This is Finding Value. I appreciate you guys listening. Subscribe, comment, rate the video. Thank you.